The 1858 Garnett House Hotel had been purchased by paranormal researchers Rob Garcia and Justin Spurrier. After personally investigating, they decided to bring in someone to get an outside point of view and potentially some validation.
Hi, my name is Rob Garcia, and I am the founding member of Elite Paranormal of Kansas City, and I am also the co-owner of the 1858 Garnett House Hotel in Garnett, Kansas. In recent years, I've kind of began to work with Justin Spurrier as a paranormal investigator and friend, and we began to kind of look around at some locations here in the Kansas and Missouri area where had some historical background. So we'd been kind of looking around at different historical locations for a little while. And we came upon this place that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And we saw the history, and it was just so much rich history involved with this building. So we saw this one come up, and then we decided to move on it very quickly. And it wasn't that long to purchase the place. And since then we've been cleaning it out, and we've removed probably tons of material from this house. It was filled to the waist throughout, and coming up on 4 weeks now, we're now pretty much got it cleaned up, and our next phase will be to begin the restoration.
We were invited as the first team to investigate this historic location. So with little deliberation, we traversed the roads of Kansas and found ourselves in Garnet.
We're here to investigate a place that was once a hotel and a doctor's office.
Rob and Justin gave us a tour of the property and told us of their restoration efforts. We only asked for information regarding history. We didn't want to know anything about deaths, events, or paranormal activity.
The 1858 Garnett House Hotel, or Garnett House, is the oldest antebellum structure, board and batten structure, in Anderson County, Kansas. The history of the house is that at that time this would have been a palace on the plains of Kansas. There was no other hotels in the area. This building was built by D.W. Houston in 1858 and sold thereafter to Mr. Teft, who turned it into a hotel. The reason for that is Mr. Houston's wife did not like the way it swayed in the wind. It was two rooms down and 2 rooms up. So at that time, it was a much smaller structure.
And it had many additions added on over the course of him having it as a hotel, and we're still learning about those various additions and subtractions from the original building. But the original core building is definitely where we're standing, still here.
In its early days as a hotel, famous outlaw and lawmen are rumored to have stayed here, some of which has been documented.
We know that the hotel at that time was expanded upon to include more rooms. And it did have very many famous guests that stayed here, including Buffalo Bill Cody, Wild Bill Hickok, Wyatt Earp, famous lawman Bat Masterson, Belle Starr, and rumored Jesse James, because they also had a home south of Garnett. We do have documentation of all of the individuals that I mentioned being here, except for Jesse James. That is just a rumor. The other item that has come up in the past is that the abolitionist John Brown did hide escaped slaves in the attic of this building.
Here you'll see under the stairs, it's closed off, but I actually, curiosity got the best of me. I popped a hole in there, and you can see underneath the stairs and see that it's actually partially finished on one side. So that's really all we've dug in there so far. But it does have the original wood floors still intact under there. So I'm thinking at some point that was probably open.
We do know after the house was a hotel for many years, it became a school and tenements. We're not sure if there was a structure built on the front of the school, but we do know that through the plot maps, that the school was on the front, and we'd also know there was some sort of tenements attached to the back, and that no longer seems to be here any longer. And that the building had changed with additions many times over the latter half of the 19th century. We do know also that some point after that, it became a private residence for many years, although we don't have exact list of who owned it as of yet. The next stage in the history that we do know extensively about is that the building was purchased by Dr. Stevens and Dr. Julius Stevens somewhere around 1948 and became their doctor's office up until the 21st century in recent times. So this building has operated quite extensively, treating patients, seeing patients in this town. So this room would have been where, we're not sure how they built it after, like in the 19th century, not sure what this room would have been, but
Another room of some sort.
we do know as a doctor's office, this is where they developed their x-rays, in this room, this little closet here. We really just don't even have a layout yet on what, in the 19th century, what they used these different rooms for. And we think this was a doctor's office, exam room, one of them, so. But as of 19th century, we're still not sure. We're still finding all that stuff out.
Yeah.
This is the kitchen or the laboratory. You see the original x-ray machine is still here in the building. Right now it's just something to look at.
Lay on it, you can eat off of it, whatever.
Yeah, it might be the dinner table. But like I said, yeah, this would have been the original kitchen probably. I don't know if they would have cooked in here in the 19th century because it was more often than not they cooked outside. So, but you don't see like a stone hearth inside this building to cook.
Like an outside open summer kitchen.
Yeah, so that might have been the possibility as they cooked outside during that time.
It was still a very old edition, though.
Yeah.
Still talking like, I think it was 1890s or
Yeah,
something
1880s
like
or 1890s this was built on.
And
Would be the entryway for the doctor's office.
kind of the waiting room.
So this would be like the reception room.
And he actually had this entrance for so long that they made him change I guess he had to change his physical address to the location. And we had to fight to get it back to the original address. And then come to find out, the original address wasn't 202 West 4th, it was 216.
216, but they renumbered the street.
Yeah, so that was prior to the street renumbering in 1882 or 1884. I think it
Yeah,
was.
so it was 216, and they renumbered it.
Every book that you see on a bookshelf did come out of the home.
Yep, we found them, just piles of
We
them.
have 3 bookshelves full, 2 here, 1 upstairs. They were all located pretty much
Upstairs. Yeah.
What's the oldest book you've got on there?
I haven't went through and found the oldest one. I know they were back, some of them were the 1800s. A lot of these go anywhere from romance to psychokinesis to Wild West to medical. It's just a little bit of everything.
Biblical stuff,
Yeah.
religious philosophy. He had a wide range of books in here. So this all had linoleum or conjoleum underneath all these floors up here. So we ripped it all out after we cleared all the debris out of here.
Yeah, everything we make, we're going to try to put right back into the house. If it's something that came from the house, we're going to try to, bits and pieces of auctions or fundraisers here and there as needed. But
These two rooms that we're going to go into, they were both the ones just filled with books and medical supplies. So watch, this is where we're dipping down.
While showing us around, we were unaware of the EVPs being captured by the camera's audio, starting with this one of a man with a deeper voice.
We're on this side, you're in the office.
yeah.
Or I don't know what we're calling that room yet. Office, lounge, or
So
sitting
you see
room.
they would have varnished around this. And
Yeah, so
the straw or hay and straw insulation that they used in the walls. So when you think old, you don't really hit you and sink in until you start seeing some of the cracks.
this is 159 years old.
This was the first frame-built home in the county.
Yeah.
And so they really had nothing to go off of, and a lot of the lumber still has bark on it. So instead of, going with the log cabins that they'd been doing, they opted to do the frame-built, but they didn't take all the bark off, so
Yeah.
kind of neat.
The paper you see around here is 1922.
Yeah, one color
Down here.
section.
See, one color section. There's a little bit of World War II there, but other than that, it's all been 1922.
Yeah, I think they had a leak and they reworked some of the floor, and they, in the 40s or something, they put some new paper in. And I know you're gonna go in the attic, 'cause I know. But if you do,
Go that way.
yeah, go this way. There's no, you can't even really get there. But,
Yeah, that's almost behind a wall there.
you know, I walked straight across here. It's fine. I didn't jump.
I would just be one person though.
Yeah.
They actually rented this as a room up there.
And we can't go into much more because you didn't want to know much more about some of that.
Yeah.
The rumor has it around town that, you know, there's a big tunneling system that went around a lot of these old towns, and this one was no different. But the rumor has it that there was a tunnel that left this location and went to possibly the Kirk House, which is located across the street. It's a bed and breakfast that was built in 1913. So we don't know how accurate that is, but the rumor's been going on for a long time, you know, and they keep asking us, did you find the tunnel? Did you find the tunnel? We haven't found no stinking tunnel. As you can see off to the right there on the east wall where the foundation's crumbled a little bit, and they've tried to repair it, and that's in line with our problems upstairs. You know, in my thinking is if there was ever a tunnel, that's where it would have been. And it's kind of odd, you know, I had the inspectors down there and they seen this shelving is normal when they're trying to stop the foundation, but this was excessive. You know, why did they do that? And this is in line with the rumor of it going that direction. But that would make sense as far as why the foundation crumbles here, and then we have the issue showing above as if this was a tunnel. You know, that's right where it would be according to rumor. So
From the basement, our camera picked up 2 EVPs. The first one of a woman talking and laughing.
It's probably a piece of medicine. It's probably a piece of medicine.
Moments later, we caught this male voice.
The lights, where's this?
So the one's the yellow plug-in.
The lights, where's this?
So the one's the yellow plug-in.
Through our historical research at the Anderson County Historical Society, we did come across many drawings by a gentleman named Ed Fink, who lived here in Garnett, Kansas. He was a barber here. He was also a caricature artist who drew cartoons and pictures of people. In doing that, we did discover that he was part of the historical documentation of the events in the house over the years. And so I did reach out to several outlets to try to find his book, because he does have a book, The History of Anderson County, where he basically drew pictures of every event that happened in this town from its founding up until the 20th century. Now, he has passed away. We do know there were some pictures in the house that we didn't have. They were gone before we purchased the house, but a gentleman did come by and show them to us, and they're quite interesting, and we're, you know, hope someday to at least have copies of them. But yeah, Mr. Fink, he documented every event that pretty much we have found historically connected to the house.
And that's what first thing everyone says is, oh, I wish Ed was still alive. He could tell you everything. But luckily, he wrote it in books and illustrated it at that. So.
But like I say, it's on a lot of these of the people that, you know, when they stayed here. There's something written on every one of them, on the front or back. Okay? Wild Bill stayed in the old Garnett House Hotel when he worked for the Overland Stage Office from 1868 to 69.
Yeah, that puts it about right on our timeline. He came in on that first train to Garnet with Buffalo Cody and.
It was really neat to see Mr. Fink's drawings that were not just in a book, but were poster size that you could, you know, put on a wall somewhere at some time and, you know, maintain history of the house. My goal eventually is to make this more of a historical landmark where people can come visit and kind of revisit the 19th century. I do have as an education, a history background, and this has kind of become my passion and outlet for that.
For the first night of our 2-night investigation, John and I are going to be going in blind.
And we won't know anything about the claims until tomorrow.
We'll sit down with Justin and Rob and see if we can validate some of our experience with their experiences.
It is now It's Friday, March 17th. It is 8:40 in the evening. I am up in the room that has the sink in it to the back of the building, doing an EVP session. Is there anyone upstairs with me? If so, could you make a noise to let me know that you're up here? Are there any of the old outlaws or any of the old marshals or whatever from back in the old days when Wild Bill Hickok and Wyatt Earp, are any of you around here? About Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill, you in here tonight? You know that old song, Buffalo Bill, won't you come out tonight, come out tonight, come out tonight, old Buffalo Bill, won't you come out tonight and dance around the moon? Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Are you guys carrying a conversation on downstairs?
No, sir, we are not.
Okay, well, I got a conversation going up here.
Copy.
It's a female organ. Is that you here? I hear a female voice. Can you, if you hear me, can you tell me your name? And I know it's not polite. Can you tell me how old you are? Do you know what year it is? Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
I do not. I can hardly hear anything on the DVR.
Well, whoever and whatever it is, they're carrying a long conversation. Hopefully the recorder or something picks it up.
Hey folks, so up here in the second floor in the Slanted Room, just before I turned this camera on, I heard a door slam. Not sure where it came from. John's gonna be checking it out. Felt a breeze. Hello? If you can hear my voice, my name is David. Car passing. I'm not here to scare you or hurt you, but I thought you might want to talk to somebody.
Man, it is getting chillier. Footsteps. Are you hearing my voice? If you can hear me, can you knock 2 times on the wall or a door? I'm hearing the conversation that maybe John was hearing. But to me it sounds like it's coming from outside. Alright. There's people outside talking. Ow. Okay. Feeling a stinging on my back. I'm not gonna touch it. Might be a wild hair, I don't know. I'm trying not to touch my back because it's, I don't know. Something's different. I'm gonna call John. Hey, John.
Hey, what's that bright light at the top of the steps?
I don't know, but I'm gonna meet you downstairs real quick. I need to have you check something.
Okay.
As you see, that's in my hand. Camera's, of course, in my other. Alright. I want you to look and see if there's any mark down there.
We'll back up a little bit. I don't see nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Fuck. Felt hot and like somebody was like a stinging, but I was like, I'm not going to touch my back and I'm going to have you look. So. I'm not sure why, but I keep getting that cold sensation on my right arm. And it's just my right arm, it's not anything else. Were you a patient of the doctor? That's a clock ticking. There. Or are you a doctor? That felt heavy on my chest there for a second. That's David exhaling. Do you like what they're doing to this place? How they're cleaning it up? I bet it looks a lot better than it did. And set the recorder on the sink. Did you hear that tapping? And set the recorder on the sink. Can you tell me your name? See your movement in there. I heard you. So this room right here is known as the Slanted Room because this side slants down that way. There's that cold air again. God. No breeze. Are you taking my arm? All right. Yes? Can you do that again? All right. Yes?
Throughout the night, we had several experiences, some captured on our recorders. While setting up for an experiment, a strange whistle was captured on the digital recorder. As John was alone on the first floor, he kept hearing what sounded like a ball bouncing. An interesting night overall, leaves us curious about what will be revealed when we meet with Rob and Justin to learn more about the history and the claims of activity at the 1858 Garnett House Hotel.